So let's jump into the very first spoiler hint for One Piece chapter 1151. Don't go anywhere right after the intro. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're here with more fresh content about One Piece, and this time it's all about chapter 1151. But before we dive into today's video, that classic reminder, drop a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. That really helps the channel grow and reach more people, so go ahead and give me that little boost. Now, with no more delays, let's get into the content. We're heading into yet another week with a new chapter. Yes, this is the third week in a row with a new chapter. Will we get a fourth week as well? Now let's talk about the first spoiler hint, which came from the main leaker. Someone wrote, "Now the fun is about to begin, and the character snaps his fingers, as if ready for a fight." This is clearly a reaction-based hint, like most first leaks we get in the week. And this particular reaction, it really feels like Luffy, especially when he's just about to start a battle. So that likely means Luffy will appear in this chapter. In fact, the editor's preview, which I already broke down in a previous video, also pointed in that direction. Gunko, the creature now controlled by Imu-sama, is currently leading Dory, Brogy, and the former giant pirates. And who's going to deal with all of that? Luffy and his companions, of course. Among them are the new giant pirates, Loki, Sanji, and Zoro, each likely getting their moment in the spotlight. That's why the phrase, "Shh, the fun is about to begin," fits perfectly as a signal that these fights are about to begin. Of course, I don't believe the battles will actually start in this chapter, but I do think this is when we see the first setups and the stage being set. And now I want to share with you how I believe the fights will be structured, starting from chapter 1151. Likely matchups. Luffy versus Imuko. Some people believe he'll need help, but Oda usually makes Luffy face the final boss solo in the end, just like he did with Kaido, so I believe this will be a one-on-one. Zoro versus Killingan. A perfect match. Killingan turns dreams and nightmares into monsters, and Zoro is known as the King of Hell. That's a clash I definitely want to see. Sanji versus Summers. This one's been hinted at for a while. Both characters revolve around the theme of love, but in very different and opposite ways. We've even seen Scopper Gaban defeat Summers before. I think now it's Sanji's turn. Loki versus Dory and Brogy. Now that the old giants have become demonic, having Loki face them alone would be a real statement of his power. New giant pirates versus former demonized giants. This includes Hajiru Jin and his crew. But I don't think they'll manage it alone. They'll likely need help from other giants, and maybe even the Straw Hats themselves, like Jinbe, once he's freed. Possible return of Scopper Gaban. Even if he's injured, I think he could still play a role in helping out against the giant demons. In my opinion, those are the perfect matchups. And chapter 1151 is where we'll start to see the direction for all of them. Now, here's the big question. Will Luffy already appear in his Nika form? Imagine the reaction of Imu and Gunko the moment Nika shows up. That would be pure. Absolute cinema. And what about you? What do you think this first hint means? Do these matchups make sense? Let me know in the comments below. We still don't know for sure whether there will be a chapter next week. This is the third in a row, so it's likely we'll get a major cliffhanger before a break. Hahash, weekly spoiler schedule. Today, more hints will drop and I'll cover every single one for you. Tuesday, we'll get the initial spoilers, or maybe even Monday like last week. Wednesday, more detailed spoilers or even the full summary. Thursday, we'll get the scan version to read. Sunday, the chapter is released officially. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.